Hello, folks, and welcome to another episode of the Cubs Line Podcast. I'm Ryan Donlevy,
I'm Ron Zielinski.
and happy deadline day. The Cubs made four big trades, acquiring five MLB-ready players at the deadline. Great deadline from Jed Hoyer. Very odd one, safe to say, but I'm fired up. Rye, what are your overall thoughts?
I mean, for about half the day today, I'm going, dude, is this guy waking up? I'm wondering if he slept through his alarm. But I mean, the final couple hours, I mean, he was firing on Jed. That is, I mean, he's firing on all cylinders. Really good deadline. I mean, we'll talk grades later, but I mean, one of the better deadlines we've had in a while.
Yeah, Tweedledum and Tweedledummer with the pretty solid deadline. So the first thing I want to talk about, no, nothing's really happening. Everything's pretty quiet. Get the notification, Michael Cerami breaking. Cubs are trading for Reed Dempters. We see the package. It's Jefferson Rojas, Dom Reed, and Mason McGuire. And
No
then
Owen Ayers. I mean, we're buzzing.
I'm like, let's go, baby. Like, this is an unreal package. Dempter's a guy who you get control with. I think he's sixth in the league in strikeouts, around a 4 ERA. Actually, no, around a 3 ERA, excuse me. So a solid left handed pitcher with control. And then Mark Ferdinand comes out and goes, the trade's not official. Jesse Rogers comes out, trade's not official. And then Cerami comes out. He's like, I've never been wrong. I stand on my word. If I need to apologize, I will, but I'm not apologizing just yet. So the entire day, I thought we were getting redemptors, but that was a pretty crazy situation.
Yeah, I mean, I got the notification. I'm like, oh my gosh, like no Ayers. You get this guy. I mean, thought it was a huge, huge win, but obviously, it didn't happen. They still made up for it. No, I mean, I won't say like made up for it, but they still, really good deadline, but very, very unfortunate situation. I mean, how about though, I don't think I've ever seen it to where like a guy's wrong, like a proven guy, he's wrong. Then he says like he gets proven wrong by all these reporters, and then he's like, no, I'm not wrong. Like this is real, and then it isn't real. Like it was just weird.
That's why we got too many guys who are trying to break the news on
Yeah,
everything.
seriously. You need
We'll talk.
you need you
Sorry.
need like a Jeff Passan and one reporter per team. That's it.
Yeah, 100%. But first trade, Cubs made yesterday evening. Kevin Gausman to the Cubs for two minor leaguers, shortstop Ty Southside and outfielder Brett Bateman. Let's talk about Kevin Gausman. We wanted a right-handed starting pitcher that has playoff experience, and that's exactly what we got. Gausman joined the Blue Jays on a 5-year, $110 million deal prior to the 2022 season. This is his last year on his deal. In 2026, the numbers don't jump out at you with a 4.51 ERA over 115 and two-thirds of an inning, but he's been very solid in the playoffs last year. He's been very good in past years. Just a down year for the Blue Jays. Very weird deadline from them, which we'll get more into later, but Gausman has a four-seam fastball, sits around 92 to 95 miles an hour, so some solid velocity there. He has an elite split finger. That's his main pitch that you'll see from him. Gets a lot of swing and misses. Made guys like Shohei Ohtani, Teoscar Hernandez look silly in last year's World Series. He also has a slider and a changeup. This is the veteran arm the Cubs needed, and I love it.
I agree. I mean, again, I mean, we are preaching about we need guys with experience, and I mean, what better than to go get a guy who was shoving in last year's World Series. Huge move from the Cubs. I mean, obviously the guys that we gave up are good, but they just I don't really see much of a place for honestly a lot of these guys in the system. And um, I mean, it's a really good move. Obviously, he's a rental, potentially not going to be on the team next year if there's even a season, but I like the move.
And I think if Gausman does good, that's a guy that you can bring back next year on a cheaper deal, I think. So it's
Mm.
a pretty win-win. We'll talk about the prospects you to give up. So the first one, which is the bigger prospect in the deal, Ty Southside. He is now the Blue Jays' number 17 ranked prospect. He's a shortstop. He's more projected to be more of a second baseman outfielder because he's only 5'7". Typically, shortstops in today's game, big, jacked. Southside doesn't really fit that model. And I believe around 400 MLB or excuse me, minor league plate appearances this year. Salenside and Bateman have combined for 3 home runs this year, so neither of them are big home run hitters. Salenside, he plays the game the right way. He's fast. He hits for contact. I believe he's currently he was in Double A for the Cubs, so he'll probably be around there for the Blue Jays, but that's a good pickup for them. He's probably going to be more of a utility guy, bottom of the order, second baseman. And then the second prospect they acquired in that deal, Brett Bateman. He's now the number 20 ranked prospect in the Blue Jays system. Another left-handed outfield bat. We kind of touched on this yesterday. Cubs have way too many left-handed outfield bats within Caden Sorrell, Ethan Conrad, Cade Snell, Kane Kepley, Josiah Hartshorn. Those are five outfield bats that are swinging from the left hand that are probably better than Brett Bateman. Bateman's going to be close to MLB ready. He's hitting leadoff for the AAA Iowa Cubs, so there's a good chance he does make his debut later in this year, especially with a weaker Toronto team. So I'd say this is a win-win deal. The Cubs get their experienced rental veteran right-handed pitcher. The Blue Jays get two scrappy players that can hit for contact.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is a win-win in both situations. The Cubs get a guy who they need, with experience, and then the Blue Jays are getting guys that are going to help them down the road. Again, like you said, pretty weird deadline from the Blue Jays, but I mean, we'll take it.
Yeah, and then a little bit after the supposedly Dempster's trade, the Cubs go out and get Braxton Garrett. This was kind of a weird deal. So Garrett, he's a guy who has had MLB success in the past. He's only 28 years old, left-handed pitcher. He was drafted in the 2016 draft. He has had good seasons in the past. Just a little bit of a down year coming off of Tommy John surgery. In 2023, he had a 3.66 ERA. He was 9-7 on the year, so that's a good season right there. In 2022, he was 3-7 with a 3.58 ERA. So that's two seasons where he got consistent innings with a good ERA. 2024, he only had a couple appearances before he got hit by Tommy John surgery, and then he only had two appearances this year at the big league level. He got shelled, but he has I believe a 2.9 ERA right now in AAA for the Marlins. So I doubt that this is a guy that is going to be with the big league team the rest of this year, but safe to say a very solid depth piece for the Cubs.
Yeah, I agree. Sometimes you just got to add that depth, and they did it in this situation. I mean, they didn't give up. Oh gosh, the return was. Oh, why
Jonathan
am I
Long and
blanking?
Jace Beck. So
Thank you.
Jonathan
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Long, Cubs
Again,
10th
yeah, like
10th
they're
prospect, right-handed first base bat. The thing is, he was probably going to be a Rule 5 draft pick, so it's good to get something at least. And this is another guy from a very stacked AAA Iowa Cubs team that is probably going to play soon for the Marlins, if I'm going to be completely honest. Good chance he makes his MLB debut this year, especially with the Marlins kind of in the hunt for that last wild card spot, but a lot of opportunity there. Then Jace Beck, a guy who's around a 3 ERA. He made most of his appearances this year in Double A. He did play in Triple A before getting traded. I believe he was the Cubs pitcher of the month last month for the minor league. So a guy with high upside, but he's also 27, 28 years old, hasn't made an MLB appearance yet. And you're going to get a similar age who has had success in the MLB. This is his, believe he has rights until 2029. So you're going to have him to develop for multiple years, and especially putting him in the system with Tyler Zombro, who's done a number on many pitchers, and Tommy Hottovy. I think Braxton Garrett's a guy that could crack the Cubs next year, and a guy with high upside and a very underrated trade, I think.
I agree, and like I said, I mean, there's just with Jonathan Long, much as we loved him. There's just he's blocked. Corner infield, he's completely blocked, and then back to, not really blocked, I wouldn't say, but there's more guys ahead of him. So I think this is solid addition for the Cubs. I mean, not too crazy.
Yeah, and then the next trade, which maybe is my favorite trade, the Cubs go out and get Ryan Jefferhan. Sorry if I mispronounced
Zephyrhan.
Zephyrhan. Tough one to pronounce, but this might be my favorite trade of the day, if I'm going to be honest. This is a high-end bullpen guy. He throws 97 to 100. They needed a guy with good velocity besides Daniel Palencia in the pen. He also has a really nice slider. I really like this. You also get a lot of control on him. I know the package isn't, what you would have wanted because I'm a big Mo Baller guy, so that made me sad, but they needed bullpen help. Zephyrhan has 5 pitches. His fastball sits around 97 on average. He has a 40% whiff rate, a 33.6 strikeout rate, and the Cubs team strikeout rate is 21.3 out of the bullpen. So you get those strikeouts. I mean, this is a guy that shut down the Brewers yesterday. He went 1.2 innings, no runs allowed, got the save, made Andrew Vaughn look silly on a couple of sliders. I really like this. You get a guy that can be your eighth inning man or ninth inning man with Palencia. And when you turn over to the playoffs and you have Zephyr Hahn, Jacob Webb, and Palencia in the back end of the bullpen, that's pretty scary. And this might be my favorite move of the day.
I agree, and I think the Clay Holmes trade kind of gets like pushes this one back a little bit. I mean, again, Mo Baller, it sucks, but like a little bit of a fall off. He was only hitting like 250 right now in AAA. I'd rather it be him than Ayers, honestly. You know, unbiased, obviously, but like this guy's, high velo, like you said. He's got really good movement too. Like I think the Cubs have their, solidified setup man. Maybe even, he'll close out a couple games. But I really like this move, and like I said before, like the Clay Holmes move kind of pushes this one aside, and this one's very underrated. I mean, this one gets that definitely an A.
Yeah, the thing with Mo Baller, unreal start to this year. He had a great end of last season, but just could never find a stride once the league kind of figured him out. That's what happens to every rookie. I mean, the league, a lot of guys have trouble adjusting when guys know how to pitch to you. Mo Baller in his last 30 games as a Cub hit 157. He's only hitting 250 right now in AAA Iowa with only 2 home runs. I thought Mo Baller was going to go down to Iowa, murder the ball, come back better
And
than
come
ever,
right back up. Yeah.
but that just never happened. The Angels, he's going to get a lot of opportunity there as they sold everyone. So he'll probably go to the MLB, I would think, right away for the Angels, get some more reps. I love Mo Baller, but there's no other positions he can play. He can't play in the field, and the Cubs need guys who can play in the field. Um, Pedro Ramirez outplayed him in that DH role. They would rather have kept on to Ramirez than Ballesteros, and that's just the harsh reality. I love Mo Baller, but he needed a fresh start. And the thing is, the guy's only 22 years old. He's going to be a stud. He's going to figure it out. Still very young, a lot of potential. The Cubs get the same amount of control with Zephyr Hahn as they would with Ballesteros. So I'm fine with it. The arm, Mason McGuire, he's the Cubs' 18th ranked prospect, son of Mark McGuire. He's got a lot of upside as well. He's been pitching in South Bend, pretty solid. This year he has a 3.64 ERA between high A and double A, or excuse me, low A and high A. So just an average minor league pitcher, but does have some upside with the velocity plus Mo Baller. So I think this is another win-win deal, but it's going to be sad because I'm a big Mo Baller guy.
Yeah, I mean, business is business, though. You got to do what you got to do to win, and I think this is a definite, win now kind of move. A lot of control for Zephyr Hahn too. So, really, really like this move.
Yeah, so now we'll talk about probably the biggest deal of the day, the last one. The Cubs traded for Clay Holmes and Tyrone Taylor in exchange for their number two ranked prospect, Jefferson Rojas. Tyrone Taylor is the right-handed bat that they needed off of the bench. Clay Holmes was shoving this year, 2.8 ERA before fracturing his fibula on a Spencer Jones comebacker on May 15th. Holmes is yet to set his comeback. He made his third minor league rehab start Sunday with the high A Brooklyn Mets affiliate. So definitely going to be a couple starts in maybe double A, triple A, but he's building his way back up and probably should be ready by mid to end of August, which is great. And then Tyrone Taylor, he's going to be a free agent at the end of the year. He's a defensive specimen, can play all three positions in the outfield. He's been on a heater as of late with 7 home runs in 24 games since returning from his hip injury in June of 2020 of 20 oh my gosh, June 28th, sorry about that. I think Taylor is going to platoon with Ian Happ. His Happ has not been hitting the ball well against left-handed pitching, so Taylor will probably see a lot of reps against lefties while Ian Happ will play versus righties, and if not, Taylor's your right-handed bat that you needed off of the bench. When healthy, Clay Holmes works a lot of ground balls, and that is huge with the Cubs, especially with the best defensive infield in the league. Holmes has a really nice arsenal: changeup, cutter, curveball, sinker, sweeper. Really nice sinker and sweeper. Those are his two primary pitches. Holmes does have a player option next year if you wanted to bring him back. I think that's something that can happen very likely. I think the Cubs will bring Clay Holmes back as long as he's pretty solid because he does have that player option. I do think the Cubs will bring back a good amount of Clay Holmes, David Peterson, and Kevin Gausman. But I love this move. Jefferson Rojas, I really like the prospect. He's hitting 270 right now with 14 bombs in Double A. This is a guy that's just blocked. The Cubs infield is set in stone. You have your utility men and Matt Shaw and Pedro Ramirez. Rojas is just blocked. This is a good return for the Mets, but I just think he's blocked. And I really hope this isn't a reverse of the PCA trade because you get two major leaguers for a minor leaguer, ends up with Pete, vice versa. I hope it's not that way.
Me and my buddies were literally just talking about how like imagine this is going to be the PCA trade all over again. But great move. I mean, like you said, Tyrone Taylor, he is on a heater right now. I know he's more known for his defense, but like, I mean, he's gonna get starts over Hap when lefties are on the mound. He hits obviously way better than Hap does at the right side. Very, very abysmal to watch Hap from the right side, honestly. He should definitely just hit lefty from now on. Besides the point. Clay Holmes, big acquisition. You know, he was shoving obviously before that injury, going to need a couple more rehab starts, but he should be ready to go. I mean, September 1st probably is like, you know, he should be ready by then. Have a whole month before October, but I mean, talk about, you know, what was this, an hour before the deadline? Like I was like, probably done, you know, three pitchers, and then you come out with this like huge package, huge end of the day.
Yeah, so Ryan, what is your overall trade deadline grade for the Cubs?
Well, at noon today was about a D, and right now, I mean, probably sitting at high B plus, low A minus. Like you know, we talked about how they're going to need a couple pitchers and a right-handed bench bat. They did all that, so I think I'm going A minus.
I'm going A minus as well. I think Jed Hoyer fleeced in these deals. As much as people want to say he did overpay, you're gonna have to overpay in these deals. Like if you
Got to
don't want
overpay
to
to win.
overpay, yeah, the Cubs are in win now mode. If you want to beat the Dodgers, you're going to have to get guys, and that's exactly what the Cubs did today. Obviously, you're not getting Tariq Skubal, but you're getting some solid guys that are really going to help you out. And think about this bullpen. How do you think this fits in? Because obviously, you have your bullpen now. I assume that Anton Kelly and Jake Woodruff will probably get DFA'd to make room for Ryan Jefferson and
Zephyr Han.
Zephyr Hahn, keep messing that up. And Kevin Gausman, Colin Ray will probably move to the bullpen. But think you're getting Riley Martin back at the end of the month. You're getting Palencia back in probably a week. You're getting Hobie Milner back in probably a week. Those are three more spots that is going to be competitive. Zephyr Hahn's taking a spot. And then with those three, you have Jacob Webb, who will stay, Thielbar, Rollison, Thornton. That's your eight right there, probably. And that's not even with Justin Steele, Ben Brown, Edward Cabrera. Your rotation's probably going to be Clay Holmes, Kevin Gausman, Matt Boyd, Edward Cabrera, and then one
Shota.
out of David Peterson, Shota Imanaga, Ben Brown, or Justin Steele. Like,
Well, I think Ben Brown, Justin Steele are out on the rotation, 100% out. I think it's just between Peterson and Shota.
yeah, and Ben Brown's going to be a good arm. So if guys like Rollison, Thornton, and Thielbar want to keep their spots, they're going to have a hell of a month pitching
I think
because
Thornton is going to be out.
I agree. Ben Brown will probably take that spot, and there's a good chance that Justin Steele takes Steel Bar's spot. So it's going to
100%.
be competitive, and if you don't want to pitch well, you're seeing the door. Like one bad outing and
Yeah.
you're gone.
Yeah.
It's that time of year. You need to win baseball games, and this bullpen, you have so many arms and a lot of good arms. It's going to be time where a lot of these guys are getting sent packing.
I got a reference here. I mean, this is if any of the audience has ever seen the movie Miracle, Ryan, I know me and you love that movie. I mean, this is time where it's like when Ralph Cox gets cut. You know,
It's a good player,
everybody's
but
everybody's been working. Everybody's, you know, they're working their ass off. Good player, but sometimes you just got to make a business decision to win.
yeah, so we'll do a little preview of tonight's game. Robleski starting for the Dodgers, Boyd for the Cubs. Um, Cubs have not announced their lineup yet for today. Dodgers lineup: Otani, Pajes, Edmund, Freeman, Betts, Tucker, Hernandez, Kike Hernandez, or Teoscar Hernandez, then Kike Hernandez, and then Alfonso hitting in the 9 hole. Elizer Alfonso hitting in the 9 hole and catching. Sorry, I didn't get that name down. But tell the Dodgers lineup, Cubs have not come out with a lineup yet. Assume it's going to be pretty righty heavy with Robleski on the mound. Expect to see Pedro Ramirez, probably no Conforto, maybe Carson Kelly and Amaya. Could see some off days from some left-handed hitters. Going to need Seiya to come up big against the lefty. Pete, Bush are going to have to manufacture some hits versus the lefty, but you're going to need your righties to step up, as in Seiya Suzuki and Alex Bregman mainly.
Yeah, I agree. Lefties all 3 days. Gonna see more of Rammer, less of Conforto. Tonight, though, Keys, just get off to an early start. Let Matt Boyd be Matt Boyd. I think this is a very winnable game. Gonna be low scoring. I think like 3-1, 3-2, definitely. But yeah, just get out to an early start. Let Boyd be Boyd, and go win a ball game.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better. So, double upload today because you guys are the best fans. So no MLB pickle, no immaculate grid around the MLB. We'll save that for tonight. Tonight we're going to be talking more about the league in general and all the trades that went on today. A little playoff prediction after the trade deadline. Obviously recap the Cubs game, but expect another fun episode tonight. Thank you guys for tuning in to this trade deadline episode. Make sure to tune in at 7:05 on Marquee, Cubs versus Dodgers game 1. I'm pumped up for it. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the episode. Signing off, Ryan Dunleavy.
Ryan Zelinsky.
See you guys in the next episode.